Hello, my name's Dr. Vaughn. I'm sitting here with David Nekrutman, who's an Orthodox Jew. I'm a Christian, and we're having some dialogue. And I want you to meet David, and I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself. David, would you tell us just who are you?
I'm the Executive Director for the Center for Jewish Christian Understanding and Cooperation, located in Efrat. It is the first Orthodox Jewish center dedicated to dialogue with Christians on a religious and a theological basis. It is the first time within the Orthodox movement that we are going ahead and beginning a fellowship with Christians that is based upon love of God, love of neighbor, and the Ten Commandments, which bonds both of our faith communities together.
Right.
So it's under the auspices of Rabbi Shlomo Riskin, who's the chief rabbi of Efrat, also the chancellor of Or Torah Stone Institutions, which boasts 3,000 students, the largest private institution in Israel, the #1 rabbinical seminary in the world. We have a military and Bible learning program, so someone can do their military service while at the same time continue their studies.
So, you know, David, there are probably some listeners and watchers that probably have never heard of Efrat. So tell us a little bit about Efrat and the significance of Efrat.
Well, Efrat, you can go back to Micah 5:2, from Bethlehem Ephrata, small clan of Judah. That's very significant within the Bible. In addition to that, it's the backyard of King David. Amos was down the block from us.
Okay.
And then you also have the path of the patriarchs, where Abraham and Isaac walked together to the binding, which, again, biblically speaking, this land is so significant. You have the book of Ruth. It's just parallel to where Efrat is. It takes place in Bethlehem. So, biblically speaking, it's quite significant, and when Christians come, they learn about the biblical roots, the biblical literature surrounding Efrat. In addition, they learn also about Gush Etzion, the modern day exploration of the state of Israel within that context of that piece of land.
You know, we know that Ruth was the first convert to Judaism.
That's true.
And so when we think about Ruth and we think about Boaz, you can almost say, you know, Gentile, Jew, you know. You actually see in your travels the coming together of Jews and Christians. Do you see that?
I see more and more that I see a lot more Christians acknowledging that the covenant with Israel is still a living covenant. We're not an ancient relic. I'm more than just a root. But there's a Hebraic foundations, and there's a thirst to learn about the Hebraic foundations of Christianity. But also I see that Christians are coming to Israel and showing their support without ulterior motive, without agenda, simply based upon Genesis 12:3. And that faith is basically going ahead and showing to Orthodox Jews and Jews in general, there is a new Christianity.
So what's your knowledge about Christianity? What kind of knowledge do you have about Christianity?
So,
and just a little small capsize.
I started off at the Israeli consulate in New York. I was there from 2000 to 2004, and I was given over the Christian portfolio from the Consul General because I attended the Nights to Honor Israel in Spanish back in 2001. And from there, we built up a tremendous portfolio in enhancing Jewish-Christian relations. So I've been doing that since 2001 until now, made inroads within each denomination, whether it be mainline Protestant, the Catholic Church, and the evangelical denomination, as an evangelical movement as well. So it's been a real pleasure. And to me,
have you had any pushback anywhere? Has everything been pretty receptive?
Not every single time it's going to be receptive. You're going to have on both sides of the coin, whether it be from my own movement that people are still suspicious based upon 2,000 years of history. And, you know, when you hear Jesus, all you hear is pogroms and Spanish Inquisition and the Holocaust and everything else, and not trying to separate what church Jesus versus historical Jesus, and understanding that, you know, this, you have a new Christianity that is affirming the covenant of Israel, that doesn't believe in replacement theology, and they really want to seek a fellowship with the Jewish people without ulterior motive, and it's our obligation as Jews to go ahead and cultivate that. Understanding there are differences, and we're not masking the differences over, but why can't we just find out how much we have in common until the point where we disagree?
So what type of things will you be teaching at the Jewish Christian Center for Understanding? What kind of approach are you going to take to?
The approach is very simple. It's biblically based, where we take the text within the 5 books of Moses, the prophets, the writings, and we learn it together.
Will you talk about the B'rata the
yes,
New Testament?
yes, we do go into the Gospels, and we'll talk about it. For example, one of the classes I gave is Jesus, the Pharisees. Matthew chapter 12, did Jesus violate the Sabbath from a Pharisaical point of view?
Right.
And we go through the text, but we go through it in a very Jewish way. We break down the text like we would do in school. Ask the questions, find out if the answers are answering their questions.
Sometimes you get a lot of questions back.
And we always get questions back,
Right.
but it seems like there's always this assumption that Jesus violated the Sabbath according to a Pharisaical point of view from Matthew chapter 12. And we say, no, not necessarily so. And
Right.
let's go through and let's see what really the story is about. And the story is not about violation of the Sabbath, it's about authority. And let's walk away and
Okay.
let's understand that text from a Jewish point of view. I'm not the first one to create this. Professor David Flusser, Hebrew University professor who was Orthodox, dealt with the Second Temple period and the Jewishness of Jesus. And I'm sort of from that school of thought from David Flusser. So is Rabbi Shlomo Riskin. He actually learned under David Flusser. My mentor in Jewish-Christian relations, Rabbi Dr. Gerald Meister, also learned under Flusser. So we take a very Flusser approach to dealing with Christians and understanding that there are differences, but yet finding commonalities and learning the text together brings people together. The bond is there, the fellowship is created, and the comfortability is there. So Christians can ask me or other staff members within the center any question they wish.
So it's good interaction.
A great interaction, and it's the first of its kind. It's not just simply in the academic world. Most of the Jewish-Christian relations happen within the academic world, never get filtered down to the average Sunday parishioner, and it's sad because 50 years of Jewish-Christian dialogue is really stuck in the academic world, never gets into the laity. And what great way to come to Israel and sit down with a Jew and start learning the text together. Because often what happens in Christian tourism is you do what we call the Jesus Trail. And you go to a site, take your picture, you do a few scriptures, and then you go home and say, here's my Kodak moment. Hi, I was there. And really, you can add to the journey of going there.
I can attest to that too, David, because even this last trip, when we take our church often to Israel, and so we can't do the same thing over and over again because we want to have everyone coming because everybody knows what So when we came through Efrat this time, it was a little twist, and the people really enjoyed that.